longer we wait, the more we have to raise things or try, we've already wasted 6 months, or, 6 months. So for next time, I'd like to bring that up again. I'll have a report on the budget, that you can have. Hopefully, it better be before we get on our report. So I'd ask the board to come with ideas of what they would like to do to try to plug the hole in the budget. It could be revenues or it could be cutting something, but we can't wait. Last year and the last 2 years, I think we survived by borrowing off the water fund. I don't think the water fund has that much excess anymore either. And if you look at the treasurer's report, don't be fooled, because a lot of the Illinois fund is water. The e-pay, that's water funds. So if you really subtracted out the water funds from the general fund, you wouldn't have much of the general fund. Eventually, that's one of my main goals when the new person takes over, is to segregate those funds so that we know, here's e-pay water funds and here's all the rest of the general fund, and we'll find out. We're pretty tight on the general fund. So I think that's first on the agenda right there, because right now we're sort of lost. I contacted Connor and Gallagher to find out where they were with health insurance. They have already started shopping our health insurance with Blue Cross, and so I'd like to have the mayor's permission, or maybe the mayor would like to take the ball to have a conference with them to find out where they are with this, and update us on the changes in the Obama law for this year, and see what our strategy might be for the healthcare coverage for next year.
My recommendation, Don, would be to have the health insurance committee get back together once they come out with the figures they're going to have with us.
And healthcare committee was one from each department?
One from each department, and I believe I was on it, Karen and yourself.
Yeah, you were on it, Don.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary, were you on it as well? No? Okay, maybe just the two of you then?
Right.
And just, I think that's the most unilateral way when we're talking about the insurances, because then the departments know what's going on as well, because they get a little upset when they feel like they're out of the loop, and they think we're just trying to shove the insurance, so.
Right. So, I mean, basically, would you want a preliminary conference before we do this?
Yeah, I actually received a letter saying that they were up for renewal.
Right.
And so we started to address some of the paperwork, because they're still looking for the headcounts and things like that. And then I had talked to Peter Krinsky, and he said he was going to start getting the prices from everybody and get us our best deal. So as soon as he gets me that information, maybe you and I can sit down with them and talk and see what they have to offer.
Okay.
Okay.
We had a meeting 2 weeks ago about digitizing paper documents. The search for the permits convinced us that we need a better system. That was a mess. We have documents that probably we don't need, that should be purged, but either starting now digitizing documents for the future, or digitizing all the documents. We talked to our present vendor Impact, who does our copiers, and they talked to us briefly about what the solutions might be for that. They want to do a demo, and I think at the beginning of October they're going to do a demo for us. Of course, the major issue is how much, how much it's going to cost, and I think we made it pretty clear to them that there has to be enough payback monetarily, that otherwise we won't be able to do this. It isn't going to be just an esoteric or aesthetic type things. It's going to have to be, time saving, and also security. Also, we're going to have hopefully more security that if our server goes down, that we'll have more backup. I know we have tapes right now, but tapes aren't quite as good.
This is hosted in-house?
Pardon me?
This is hosted on our own servers?
It's hosted in-house and either outside on a server or in the cloud. So double. It
We
would
might need to
it'd be redundant.
add a server.
Pardon me?
We may need to add a server.
Absolutely.
We have to look at the figures.
Because if memory serves me correctly, we're working with one that's
Right.
close to 10 years old.
Is that there? Okay, the safety committee met last Tuesday. New members of the safety committee, when Chairman Frank, were awesome. I mean, they're just doing great work. Two of the issues they talked about, somehow last year we put in speed humps, and according to what we were told, the residents of the Linder wanted speed humps because they were concerned about speeding down Linder. Now all of a sudden, they don't want them. Either the speed humps are inconvenient, or one guy was doing it, I don't know what, I didn't know.
There's a big argument with the neighbors.
It is.
I recommended to you guys that they did put them in, because I've seen people,
Right.
once they get through the bad portion,
That's right.
head north and fly.
That's right,
And so we put them in, and they're very small, and this is
That's
just
right.
a neighbor.
that's right. They're
So the
not-
neighbors are actually
they're
cutting
not
through this
high,
guy's
they're
driveway.
blacktop, with
Yeah.
asphalt, right? But now we have a petition, but this time, the safety committee is sending this questionnaire to all the residents in Midlothian on Linder, what do you want to do? And there's choices of one speed hump, eliminate both of them, keep them, or whatever, so, but we don't want to do that again. The other issue, there's other issues that were taking the ball, but another issue is that with the safe streets, again, we want to emphasize that there's opportunities to put in more crosswalks, we want to do it. We want to put crosswalks in 146 in Pulaski, put crosswalks in possibly 147 in Costner, a crosswalk at 147 in Central Park. Anything we can do to enhance the safety of our school children especially would be much appreciated. So if that is part of the Safe Streets program,
Well, this is complete streets.
complete streets, sorry.
And this is more policy driven.
I know, and I'm just saying if what is it, who would come to the county or this IDOT? And you would say to them, here's our plan.
Once we have a policy,
Right.
so you probably need to share
I want
that
to put,
information.
we want to put crosswalks in the policy.
I want to go back to this questionnaire. So you're going to give it all the residents,
Right.
and
Majority
what-
rules.
What if the gentleman that's driving around the speed humps now says, I want them removed? You remove them?
Majority rules.
So he's still going to drive around?
Yeah.
So how's that?
Give him a ticket.
Majority rules.
You just sit out there all day?
Oh, no.
No, he was actually,
Fingernails. I like that idea.
Harry, one of the speed humps is directly between the entrance and the exit of a guy who's got a horseshoe driveway.
Mhm.
So this neighbor was mad because the guy who has a horseshoe driveway was the one that really wanted him, because he lives with the spot where everybody's picking up all the speed. So they were going through this guy's driveway. So this guy had to put railroad ties in his driveway to keep people out.
Oh, my God.
So and these bumps are very minimal or nothing. I don't know if you've ever driven down there. I drive
Not
over
yet.
doing the speed limit and you.
And actually, for the people that are going south, it actually probably saves their life, because if they kept on going fast through those potholes, they wouldn't have any wheels.
That was my contention, it's way worse down on the south end of the street than those two speed humps. But it was slowing down kids and school buses, you've seen school buses, they fly.
Right.
Especially if they gotta slow down for all the potholes,
Right.
then they take off.
Right.
That was what was going on.
Right.
That's why
And I
I
heard from a
recommend.
couple, it wasn't just this one person, I talked to a couple other people, they said, yeah, this is a great idea, all of a sudden it's not a great idea. Anyway, the safety committee's gonna work on that. Next on the agenda, and I think Kathy already talked about this, which I wasn't here, but the CRS meeting, we wanna have a CRS meeting as soon as possible. We wanna have all the, people who might be stakeholders in this whole thing. We need to find out what we need to have this done by the end of October. We need to have a meeting to find out what we need to do now. We need to find out what information we don't have. We need to find out who can help us with getting this information. We need to do it very quickly.
Don, I suggested Monday at 7:30.
And yes, Monday at 7:30, and I know, definitely building, somebody from building, or Jerry from building, I don't know. Joe, I know you don't think it is so much pertinent to you, but we need to make sure
Yeah,
that that's true, and if there's some little piece of the puzzle that you can help us solve, that's
Well, I would
great.
just ask if we could discuss it through email tomorrow, just to check the schedule.
Fine. But we want to, if we can have a meeting Monday night, hopefully not too long, and it'll be just your line item, who's got the information, what do we need to do? If we need, after that, to talk to Jeff about some more information, great, but I don't know if that's available for Jerry, is that available for you?
Sure, I'm not sure.
Okay, so we'll work on that, but we need to have this done by the end of October, and then basically we need to have, I think, the draft, the outline of our information probably by October 15th, so we can make sure we got all our ducks in a row, and I think we can, as I remember, we can send this to to them and sort of get their comments on it before, or?
I put in a phone call to Luann this evening before I left work.
Right.
And left her a voicemail, so.
Right, and
I'll
so
let
we're
you know
looking
what she
for as
says.
much help as we can to make sure we didn't miss anything so much. Also, we might like the letter that you gave for the CAB visit on the permits, just to make sure that we have that information and make sure that we are not missing something with there. Because that is pertinent to the CRS also. Anything I missed?
Nope,
Okay.
you got it all.
Just keep it in mind, we now got that map through the foot.
Okay, well, that's the
SSMA.
issue, we have a map, what information do we have? But the CRS wants not just the map, with the GIS you're saying, or just the
Right,
map? But the CRS says you have to have information in the,
Well, you can add it, okay? I mean, I can send you the link, there's all these layers, Jerry, you can, okay, and so you've got.
well, that's part of the issue, so
Okay.
Jerry, and if you want to, please come, we might,
Well, I
the only
think that
trouble is we have
somebody
to post
who's
it.
ever taken the lead on this, you're gonna host the meeting.
We have to post a meeting, so we'll find out, because if somebody that went to the GIS meeting, we have to find out what information was in there and how easy it is to add the
Well, it's
information.
really easy.
And who's gonna do it? That's the problem. I mean, the CRS, we have to certify to, yes, Ken?
One of the line items, one of the action items on the CRS quick checklist, I believe it's like the first or second one, it's a question, it states, when residents come to your village to ask if their property is in the flood zone, do you give them that information? Our answer has to be yes. So that means that somebody, either in Public Works or Building Department or the Village Hall, has to have that link. I have the link, I got it from Brian Eber, I know I shared it with some of you, I'll send it to all of you. It's probably very similar to the GIS map that you guys looked at when you were at the SSMA
Well,
meeting.
right now, Kathy, my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you've been part of the process, and SSMA came out and trained
Mhm.
our employees, they trained the building department. So if somebody comes in, and this is my understanding, and applies for a permit,
Mhm.
just put the address in.
Right, and it pops up.
Yeah, I've
Right,
gotten
I've
phone
got the
calls.
link from Brian Eber, you go, I can give you guys all the link, anybody can use it.
I've gotten
Type in the
emails
address
from,
and it pops up.
Gwen in the building department asking me development questions in the floodplain, so she has some kind of access to be able to check it.
Right.
They do check it, and right now, they
Someone
do
knows how to do it.
look at maps and talk to the residents prior to the permit application.
Right,
Now the GIS is another,
Right, this was to close that loophole, that was the big loophole.
not just rely on the map.
Right.
right. So as part of that,
And also to be able to pull up property information as far as what permits, what improvements they made, blah, 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 the whole
Right.
thing. But the question is, we can't say it's in process, we'll have to say it's yes. So
Correct.
the yes has got to
and
be
we'll
now.
probably have to provide some type of documentation as far as like a policy or a procedure, a two-page procedure as
If
to
it's
what
not
would.
ready, you can always add it.
That's right, next year.
Yeah.
But we have to find out what we can say that's concrete, because they're gonna visit us and say, okay,
Prove it.
show, yeah,
Yeah.
show me the money. Okay, so that's fine. Last item, yay.
Applause.
Oh, carry.
Throw something.
I had my wife on all day looking for travel pillows, but couldn't find them.
Another meeting brought to you when you start losing control.
Oh.
Church people.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you're last year?
He's done.
Okay, so.
Knock it off.
This is probably, I mean, we're quite entertaining, aren't we? Especially trustee Coley.
Basically, the water collection department has told me, consistently that the single-family rental homes are the biggest problem as far as water collections. They are the most past due, they are the hardest to collect, because the people that that rent from them leave quickly. They, you know, basically, they're there, they don't have to, you know, basically do anything with us. I think maybe a minimal deposit, and those are by far of anything we have to do. What really stands out is single-family rental housing. That's their biggest problem, of collecting on water. We're stuck with some pretty good bills pretty consistently. So Maureen suggested that, and I think she's talked, I don't know if she sent you anything, Bill, but basically she would like to find a way of either, she would prefer to make the landlords responsible for paying the water bill. Or, if failing that, that's not legal for some reason, to require a larger collection for single-family rental housing.
Your ordinance already permits it then. Your ordinance says that the renter and the landlord are jointly and severally liable for the water bill, which means that you can collect against the landlord for a water bill that's run up by the tenant. And it becomes
For single, or I thought it was only
Correct.
for,
No, for both. For single family homes, for either, it doesn't matter. So all that requires the landlord to do is go and try to collect the money from the tenant, which the landlords don't want to do.
so in other words, if the tenant doesn't pay or is gone, then we can go to the landlord
Correct.
and do the shut off.
Correct.
If we need to. Correct. That's all, folks. Thank you for your time.
Trustee Moskowitz.
It's gonna be hard to top that. I left my travel clothes. I just hit with a few items. We spoke a little bit about the treasurer position. I think I shared an updated version before last week's scheduled meeting with the updates. Nicole had sent me a few things that I was missing in terms of legalities. I had taken out some things in the physical demand and work environment section, which I put back in. But if there were no other, I guess, changes, I would ask that the board approve this. And then in light of the discussion tonight about perhaps combining our accountant with the treasurer, we'll leave the title treasurer right now, but if we need to change it or we decide we find someone who meets qualifications, we don't want them to be called treasurer and we prefer something like a finance director, then we can update it at that time. Is that acceptable to the board?
So you'd be making a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept this job description for the village treasurer and commence our search for a good candidate.
Any discussion?
I just want to thank you, Alan, because it's a pretty comprehensive job description. Thank you.
Trustee Moskowitz.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
All right.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis. Aye. Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Second item I had this evening was related to the estimate that I also shared with the board this week from Goldilocks. I think the last at least one or two meetings, we discussed the situation with the cameras that are inoperable in the village hall and some other security concerns I know that trustee Ivan has brought up and raised with the board. This estimate is to replace and or upgrade all of the cameras in the village complex. This includes 16 cameras, a 32-channel video recorder with a 6 terabyte hard drive. That's twice the channels that we will need to start with, so there's room for expansion. It includes a 32-inch LED monitor, Ethernet wiring, and a labor to pull that wiring. The total proposal from Goldilocks is $7,775. Chief Kaufman has agreed to split the bill and cover half of it, or $3,887.50 from the seized funds account, which would leave the remainder to be paid for by the village. Just one other comment, I did some of my own research online based on the specs here, and I think the prices are good. Chief Kaufman explained at the last meeting some of the challenges we have right now with the recording equipment and maybe one or two of the older cameras being serviced from another vendor who hasn't been very responsive when we've had service issues. So I did ask him some questions about that because that other vendor is in Midlothian business, but they have not been very cooperative in dealing with service issues. So given that issue and the fairness of the price, I will make the motion that we approve this.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Will you seeing like a plan for where all these cameras are gonna go before you start installing them?
I guess it's however we want to do this. If you want to leave it up to me, if you any suggestions, I know where they're going on our end already.
No, I just wanna see a plan for where you're gonna designate them. Not so much.
Briefly talk, the addition to the village hall. There's one there, there's one towards the girls in the front. Two, one would be in the trustees, I think there's three to be added, one outside the front door, one in the lobbyway, one in the trustee area, try to catch as much.
Which would pick up the doorway, right?
Right.
Yes.
I'm thinking more like an architectural plan that shows where these cameras are gonna be placed, so we can,
I don't have that.
I mean, will the installer have something like that?
Sure.
We have to tell them where, yeah, we
They
have
pretty much just wherever we want to have them put them, that's what I did.
But I just wanna make sure you guys are verifying where they're being placed, is to where you want them to
I mean, I
go
would-
versus them,
I haven't done this much with it, so obviously, when they came in to install them, they would go around with them and, say, this is just point out where they want it to be. They're not real hard to move. So at first, it's a minimum, because we've done it, it's a minimum expense. It's time that it came where we wanted to go. Obviously, we have to add, that's the nice thing about this, we'll have room for 16 cameras. And they're roughly $200 a piece.
well, I think it's a great idea, I'm just
So,
saying.
yeah, I mean, I guess if anybody has suggestions where they want them, I mean, my only thought was, Trustee Price talked about some security issues as well. The thought was, with people coming in, behind closed doors, things of that nature. That's what started this, and it was decided that, one should be out the front door, so we know who's coming in at all times through the lobby. Because they get a lot of problems up there as well, trustees, the area, and the one inside the lobby. So those are the three areas that I was thinking, where basically what it is they would
Well, I
monitor
understand.
whatever is going to give the most exposure and the best, it's kind of, what they do is they wire them a lot of times, they'll hold them up. They'll, not permanently mount them,
Mhm.
and then we view on the monitor, okay, before they get permanent mounted, they have to find out which area is covered the most. How it's gonna work, so.
I understand they're easy to put in and they're relatively cheap, individual cameras, but my concern is that, that how you talk about where you want them to be placed, that they just be put on a plan so that you can visibly see that plan, so that it stands out that all the areas that you've talked about to the installer are covered. That would be my concern.
Who will we suggest to do the plan for something like this?
Well, the installer would, you're gonna tell the installer where you want these cameras to go, for him to produce a plan saying they're at such and such a location, that should be relatively easy. It's like when you build a house, you gotta have what the house looks like before you go building it. You don't say, hey, I need a roof and I need a wall,
I had asked.
That's one of my
Sounds
concerns.
complicated to me.
It's not. There's a drawing of the village hall.
Yeah, basically,
Just
where
give me a
we want
copy,
the cameras.
you got a copy of that, give him that to him, and then give it to the installer,
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
it's not that hard.
Not there.
So that way you can see how security is gonna work then, from a visible point of view where you've got the cameras.
All right, so you give me the Britain.
You have it you have it from when you were looking at the safety issue.
Yeah, I have architectural plans on my desk.
So we can mark on there where there are existing cameras now?
Yeah.
And where the additional ones will go.
Even existing
We'll give them the plan.
and for new.
Trustee Masso?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Killaway?
Aye.
Trustee Price? Aye. Trustee LaRue?
Aye.
I have one last item. This is an ordinance authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the village of Midlothian. This is related to 6 vehicles that we are disposing of from the police department. 2004 Chevy Impala with approximately 72,000 miles, 2004 Chevy Impala with 110,000 miles, 2005 Chevy Impala with 112,000 miles, 2007 Chevy Impala with 123,000 miles, the 1998 Lexus GS 300 115,000 miles, and a 2002 Suzuki GSX XR 750 motorcycle with 123,000 miles on it. I make the motion that we approve this ordinance.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, you can ride a bike.
We don't use it for anything.
We should.
I have a question, is there anything out of that that we could salvage to get a second vehicle for the building department?
Ask him.
Chief,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
given that we're gonna have another building inspector, are any of these vehicles in condition we could potentially use for a part-time?
2004 with 72,000 miles on it.
It's actually the worst car in the fleet, believe it or not. I could, if we pass a resolution for this, it doesn't mean we have to sell it, correct?
Right.
No, you're just talking.
We're authorized to, but we don't have to.
Okay. I mean, we could sit and try to look and see if, try to find something, whatever the best one is with that.
This Skip Strober ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
You don't know that.
Okay. We definitely don't like that.
Trustee Mosco?
Aye.
Trustee Kreis? Aye. Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Foley?
Aye.
Trustee LaRue?
Aye.
That is all I have tonight.
Great, thank you. Legal?
We received a letter from the ACLU about a new amendment to the municipal code. So we're going to have to review our residential rental ordinance because they passed a new law that goes into effect in November. It doesn't allow you to take into account how many calls are made to the police department in determining whether or not somebody should be considered a nuisance and removed. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work to amend our ordinance to comply with the new statute. Essentially, they passed a statute, they didn't like people that might be calling for domestic violence reasons to be punished then later, so that's the purpose of the statute. And our ordinance doesn't delineate any other way. If you call an excessive amount of times, then we can consider you a nuisance, so we'll just have to do a little bit of work on that.
Jeff Goza?
Yes, very quickly,
No, not quickly, we have till midnight.
for the resurfacing contract that was awarded tonight, we had a tentative date for pre-construction meeting of Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Hopefully try and kick that project off as soon as possible. And also today I met with Superintendent Sperry, we drove 144th and 149th Street to verify the curb removals and the surfacing limits and all that good stuff. So we're in good shape for that submittal next month. Karen, regarding the green infrastructure question Holly brought up, you saw that, right?
Oh, about green infrastructure, incorporating into all our projects.
IDOT's initial response was they don't know.
From IDOT?
Yeah, they're not sure if they can include that in this scope of work. But they're supposed to get back to the haven't back, so I'll follow up with them tomorrow. And try to get things done.
Okay, you'll let me know,
Yeah.
copy. Thank you, appreciate it.
And that was all. Thank you.
Chief Outlander?
There's a couple things. The paramedics that graduated were firefighter Joe McClellan, one of our full-time guys, and firefighter Mike Hanlon, who's a part-time guy. And that is our last paramedic for full-time going through school. So our guys are all done. We have 3 guys taking the state test left, these 2 plus one other guy, and we'll be done with the paramedic. Fire Prevention Week's coming up, October 4th through 10th. We're gonna have we're gonna be going around all the classrooms, all schools, doing our talks and stuff like that. So very, very active week. It's also the same time after Fire Prevention Week is our pancake breakfast. That's October 11th. Just a reminder from 8 to 12. And the raffle tickets have been sent in the mail. The winner will be announced at the end of the pancake breakfast. That's all.
Okay. Chief Kaufman?
Just the new vehicles on the street for the middle of last week that we purchased through the Metro funds and drug seizure money. So it's for 4 new trucks we have, and 4 other cars should be in the next 2 weeks. So hopefully all this transition will be done. That's it.
Great. Superintendent Sperry?
Just want to let everybody know that branch pickup's going to be starting, fall branch pickup will be starting in the northeast section on the week of October 5th. That's it.
Okay, great.
Joe, how much longer is the night court, Jeff?
Well, it's actually just my court mainly working on it now. I've heard 2 to 4 weeks maybe. They have to make the connections now. They got the new line, and they connect it all. Then they got all the restoration work to do.
Thank you. Under my business, as I told you guys earlier this evening, I did tell, I was in contact with Brian Ever, and I sent him all the permits and everything he had requested on the properties that, from that list he had sent us. I reached out to him again today. He did say after he was able to review it, he will schedule a time where he can come and address the board and answer any questions you might have, or what we have to do to continue to be in compliance. I just wanted to give him the information as soon as possible. As you are aware, the bond audit had started the end of last week, or actually they started in their office early last week and came to our office at the end of last week. I usually have 1 or 2 people a day here. They have been thoroughly going through the 2009, 2010, and the 2010A bonds. And as of this afternoon, I have received an update. It's called the status of engagement. It says, "Hi, Mayor Ryback. I wanted to give you a quick update on where we are in the investigation of the 2009, 10, and 10A bonds and the use of these bond funds. For the 2010A, on 8/11/10, there was I'm going to round the numbers off just so you guys know. There was a deposit of $9.2 million for bond proceeds. We have located expenditures of $3.2 million that we believe were paid from this bond and have requested invoices to verify that they meet the requirements of the bond. There was $4 million in transfers that we have traced through to another bank account, and we received the bank statements today and will be going through to determine if the money was spent or is still on hand. There is still a remaining $2 million that we can see being transferred out, but we are still trying to locate the other account where these amounts were transferred in. For the 2010, on 4/29/2010, there was a deposit of $3.5 million for bond proceeds. We have located expenditures of $1 million that we believe were paid from this bond and have requested invoices to verify that they meet the requirements of the bond. There was $1.2 million transferred to the general account that we are working through to see if these project expenditures were paid through there that can also be identified. There was an additional $1 million that was withdrawn from the account. We are attempting to locate what cash account it went into. That would leave approximately $226,000 left in this bond fund at this time. For the 2009, we're missing all the bank statements and they're unable to determine the bond receipt and usage. So we have been given a laundry list of about 3 pages of receipts they're looking to verify the expenses. We have requested the bank statements to come from AJ's because we've looked high and low around here. We cannot find them for the 2009 bond anywhere. So they are producing those for us. They will not be out tomorrow. They'll be back again on Friday, and they're going to continue to work. But I just wanted to give all the board members an update. I don't know where we're going to end up with this, but that's what we know so far. So I will keep you apprised as things come up. And that's all I have this evening. I have nothing out of the clerk's business, and I do believe I had a request to go to open session. I'd be looking for a motion to go to closed session to discuss personnel, compensation of specific personnel.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Trustee Lasko?
Aye.
Trustee LaRue?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killing. Trustee Kreis. Aye. We are in closed session.